What's up, everyone? So, the NBA Finals were headed into Game 3. This game is scheduled to take place on Wednesday, but where I am, it's going to be Thursday morning, about 3 a.m. in the morning. So, yeah, man. I mean, it's just pretty exciting. The series is tied at 1-1, and let's just get into it. So, four things to watch for in Game 3 of the NBA Finals. So, just going through an article from the official NBA site. And without further ado, let's just get into it. So it's been 12 years since the Boston Celtics hosted the NBA Finals, and 14 since they won. And that's not a lengthy dry spell for three-fourths of the league. But in Boston, folks are thirsty for a championship. I mean, the last time they won was in 2008. The last time they were in the finals was in 2010, where they got beat by the Los Angeles Lakers in seven. And it's been 12 years later. They're in the finals. I can see that it was long overdue because they had multiple chances of making the finals, but it didn't happen at that time. So I mean, let's just get into it. So Draymond Green getting physical and mental. So decades ago, when the Bulls were all all in rage in June, Dennis Rodman grabbed rebounds and played tight defense, and also did something else that didn't qualify statistically. Dennis Rodman was an expert in the art of annoyance. I mean, this guy, he was pestering, opposing of the other team's best players, and he took them off their game. So he'd do something sickly sinister, a jab on the ribs, maybe trip someone, run his mouth, or just push a button to throw someone off his game. So now we have Draymond Green, just using that blueprint, just using that strategy to take apart and just stifle the other guy's offense. So you have Draymond Green. He has a master's degree in distraction. It's funny that the NBA would say that. Trying to get someone under someone's skin like a tattoo in this series. He's been doing that to Marcus Smart, the reigning defensive player of the year, switching, body positioning, and contesting shots. It's something to behold, and underlines how Draymond Green is good at his craft, because this is a guy, he's not going to be the best scorer, he's not going to be the best rebounder, but in the assists, he leads sometimes in assists, but he's not a guy who is is going to be pressured to score the basketball, because you have scoring options in right now. You have Stephen Curry, Clay Thompson, Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins, so he can just take a backseat on offense and just focus 100% defensively. So the Warriors system allows him to have a leeway to be able to get in his bag and get into his craft. So working off the referees and exchanging a word or two with various Celtics, that gives a full picture of what Draymond Green does. And actually, this is something very very important, given the position that he plays in. And I mean, it is it's just so great to see, especially in the biggest stage, of seeing him go back and forth with um, the teams that he has matched up against, even in this playoff run, the first round at Denver. You saw, but you can actually see what he did. He just used the same antics. Okay, sometimes he can go overboard and have a jab or two with the refs. Just try to uh, talk to the refs on why the decision should be overturned, but should just keep on doing that. So that's the whole thing. So Draymond Green should just continue to do Draymond things. And on to the next one. I mean, this is something that is very crucial for the Celtics going forward. They need to find who's the third guy, who's the third option for the Celtics, because the Boston Celtics have two sources of consistent scoring in Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown. That's been the case all season, but evidently good enough for Boston to make the finals. But now that they are there and they are playing a Golden State team, do the Celtics have a third power source, or just to keep up they're increasing their chances of winning? So as we can see all season long, Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown were given the keys to the offense, and the offense was just built around them. So the question is, who's going to be their third star? Who's going to come off and just assisting, scoring, and offensive, carrying the offensive load? Is it going to be Al Horford, Marcus Smart? Okay, Robin Williams to some extent because this guy do crashes the balls, but I'm not sure if this guy's 100% because I'm not sure. But we need some productivity from Marcus Smart, Al Horford, two guys who have the pedigree to do things great, do great things. So Smart and Al Horford also can vaporize, and as they did in game two, where they combined for 4 points. So you can see Al Horford, he had a good game in game one. I think he scored like 26 or 29 points. In game two, only like 4 points, so 2 points. So it's a mute point because there's a point where in game two, man, when I was just watching it in the third, I mean, they just got outscored like 14 35, 35 for the Warriors, 14 for the Boston Celtics. They were held to that, and that's when they dug themselves in a hole that they just couldn't get out of. Is Derek White also a guy who's gonna come and step up? Grant Williams or nobody? On this journey, the Celtics played the Bucks without Chris Middleton, the Miami Heat with our hobble Tyler Hero. In each case, the opponent short changed a 20-point score. So not so now because the Warriors are in full strength. So who's gonna show up and be their third option to be able to carry them over the hump? So that's one thing. That's one area that the Celtics need to look out for. And moving on swiftly, will Steve Kerr be forced to make a choice, Clay or Poole? So this isn't about making a starting lineup change. Not that, not at this stage. That's far too risky because when you do that, cannot choose between Clay Thompson or Jordan Poole because Jordan Poole has this is his first time. Clay Thompson has been there. He's been there, done that. He was very instrumental in the Warriors winning 3 championships. With about the moment of this is about the moment of truth in a tight fourth quarter. Who are you going to leave on the floor? Is it Jordan Poole or Clay Thompson? Honestly, I can just say Clay Thompson. I can just put him there because he knows how to turn it up, and his style of play that isn't pegged on athleticism. I'm not saying Jordan Poole is that athletic; he just goes on and dunks. But I'm saying that offensive and defensive awareness is very important. I'm not sure if Poole is a good defender, but if we have a Clay Thompson on the floor, and I trust the Warriors offense if they are running Steph Curry, Clay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, uh, Jordan Poole, and you having your backcourt of Stephen Curry and Clay Thompson will actually be much better than having a Jordan Poole. Okay, I'm not saying Jordan Poole is not good, but I can just tell him, I can just let him take a back seat a bit and let Clay Thompson do his things because you don't know. Game six, Clay just comes in and just does everything. It just does everything great, and that's one thing that they need to look at because Carr admitted as much as saying he's never afraid, he's never shies away. I mean, I think he's the biggest thing with Jordan is he has great confidence and belief in himself. This is what Steve Kerr said about Jordan Poole and Clay Thompson. He's that guy, man, and he knows how to get it done because he's been there since every finals appearance. Clay Thompson has been there, and he won 3 championships, helping Steph Curry, do his thing. But last but not least, the Celtics require a heaping help of home remedy. So the Celtics have collected all the flaws for being such an unflinching road team this postseason. They're 8-3, winners of a pair of elimination games as well. But maybe this effort is out of necessity because their home stability is nothing to write home about. I mean, the funny thing is with the Celtics, when I was watching the Bucks series, these guys thrived when they played away, but at home they lost games at home. They won away games, so it's something that is it strikes me. It hits different because they've fallen twice to each of the Bucks and Heat at the TD Garden in the previous 2 rounds. And then actually, this is what scared me because if you're not able to draw that home energy and be able to win that game, then why are you saying that you have home court advantage if you can't use that energy from the fans and use that energy from your home floor to be able to win a basketball game? So if they're able to pull off at least one win, I'm not saying they're going to win back to back and go up 3-1, but honestly, game 3 and game 4 they're going to turn out the way game 1 and game 2 happened. You can see a Boston Celtics team, if they're able to steal game 3 at their home floor. I feel like Golden State are going to come up huge in Game 4 and be able to tie up the series 2-2. That's actually one of my. It's highly likely what's going to happen because they have had some time to think about this Game 3. They've had like at least 48 hours to just think about these games, this Game 3 moving forward, and also Game 4 moving forward potentially in the series. So if they're able to pull off a win in Game 3, honestly, Game 4, it shouldn't come out as a surprise that the Warriors are going to win Game 4. So I mean, the last finals game at the Garden was in June 2010. Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett put the Celtics up 3-2 with a strong finish for the win. As and they needed every bit of that energy because of the force and nature of coming to the Lakers. Kobe Bryant scored 38. The players have changed. The setting remains the same, and I mean, after being closed for business in June ever since, I mean, Guardians still waits the chance to regain a winning feeling and restore some finals glory. So that's one thing that the Celtics need to do. They need to get over the fact that they couldn't win home games when they played with the Bucks and Heat, and actually that's one thing that scared me a lot. So if they're able to do that, if they can use that energy from the fans and be able to win, it will end up great for them because at least they will be able to gather some confidence and at least potentially, I'm not saying highly likely, they can go up 3-1, but man, I mean, winning two back-to-back games at home and you're facing a team like the Golden State Warriors who can adjust to your offense and have more offensive firepower can be a tall ask when you have a situation where the Celtics cannot master any consistent offense outside of Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown. This is not a knock on them, but it's just the facts, right? So I'm hoping to see an eventful Game 3 and just see who's gonna show up in Game 3 because you saw the Warriors show up in Game 3. If the Warriors win Game 3, highly likely that the Boston Celtics are going to Game 4. They're just gonna swap the way they did Game 1 and Game 2. So that's my take on it. So if you guys like the video, make sure to leave feedback down in the comments what you think. And I'm dropping on mic till the next upload. Peace.